Next, we're going to have a keynote from Deputy Head Innovation and Technology in Invest Hong Kong, Gregory Roll, and he's going to tell us a bit more about Hong Kong's biomedical cluster and leading IPO in Central Asia. Hi, welcome to the stage.
Yeah, how can I say first? Dzień dobry. So thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. I'm very delighted to be the first time in Poland and the first time in Wrocław. Today I will give you a kind of outline about our Hong Kong ecosystem. It's not more about technology, it's also about the talents and so on. We're very pleased to be here because we really believe in the talents of Eastern European countries. So when you see the first slide, it's kind of, my feeling is like New York. Hong Kong is the city never sleeps. It's very vibrant. So you see just the skyline there. I just came from Hong Kong. After this kind of interesting pandemic, it felt like an ice winter. We are very open for business. And with this, I want to give you an outline about our activities. And we see ourselves as a bridge between the East and West. Yes, we are actually from the government, and we do the foreign direct investment activities. We give the services free of charge. We are professional, and we have specific sector specialists. I belong actually to the innovation and technology sector, covering most of the time our biomedical activities, AI and robotics, but I'm also interested in green tech, sustainability, microelectronics and semiconductor activities. So if you have something in special also in deep tech, talk to me. Thank you. When we talk about Hong Kong, I see ourselves in the center of Asia. So first off the left side, you see our offices. We are in the world with over 30 offices, so you can always reach out to us for advice, talks, how to embrace Hong Kong in Asia. And when you see Hong Kong, you can commute within 5 hours flight time, approaching over 50% of the world's population, so please utilize the chance. This is a quick snapshot in the beginning. What is about Hong Kong? Hong Kong is a very fantastic hub. It's very lean. It's a very good super connector in Asia. We have a very good system. We have an elegant tax regime. We have IP protection. We are very close proximity to mainland China. In the backyard, we have the Greater Bay Area. So this is Hong Kong plus 10 other cities with a population now over 80 million. And then, in addition, we have a very vibrant ecosystem with startups, scale-ups, and mature companies. And last but not least here, funding is very vital. We are the third biggest financial hub after New York and London. And with this, we can support companies in their scale-up phase. I will elaborate about this a little bit later. Life science. So my topic today is just to grab something about technologies, like how can we embrace it? If you have an ecosystem in Wrocław, in Poland, you have lots of talents here. I heard lots of in natural science. So maybe you go for the digital health activities, biomedical, and then you say, I have a startup, I have my first lead customers in Poland, in Europe, but now I want to say, I want to scale up in the world. Possibly you can find your place in Hong Kong, reaching out for Asia. Then you have to look at this value chain here. It's from basic research to translational research to products to industry. You can find a niche, and maybe you can work together with certain stakeholders, key opinion leaders in Hong Kong. So this is the first snapshot, and then I elaborate about this more in specific. So we have, of course, a normal healthcare system with the public and private. It's similar like in European countries, because we have regulation. What this means, if your product is approved already, for example, in America over FDA, or in Japan with PMDA, you can already launch your product in Hong Kong based on the harmonization. Then you see this kind of phases of the elderly people. We think about that Hong Kong, you can live very long, and that's very good. And then we talk about the problem or topic of aging society. It's good that we live long, but this means also we have to find new solutions when we have more people becoming older and there are issues with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and dementia. And therefore, I want to invite Polish companies or Eastern European companies to work on solutions and to introduce these solutions also to Hong Kong. This is the slide about clinical trials. Of course, when you want to come to Asia, and you need some backup trials, you can engage with us, so utilizing our hospitals and the prominent CROs for proliferating your R&D development in Hong Kong. This is also a value chain about the healthcare system. Of course, we talk about prevention, diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation. Why is it so important? Because the former medical approach was like, how can I say, very simple. You go to the doctor when it's too late, and then maybe you become a chronic patient. The now and future is actually the kind of relying on precision medicine, personalized medicine. It's about diagnostics, it's about monitoring. So in the future, you get maybe more wearables in the hospital and have a kind of early detection if something's wrong with you, so the doctor and the expert can evaluate you and say, or maybe you have to get a special treatment. This leads us to the future of medical AI and big data. I will also elaborate in the next moment. This is about diagnostics. Already triggered this about diagnosis is more and more important. Diagnostics become more and more advanced, smaller or more capable for the early detection of special diseases, not only the CNS like Parkinson, Alzheimer, but also, for example, the eye disease like glaucoma and AMD. This normally you find out after 15 years, and then it's too late for the intervention. I mentioned these companies because they are very champions in the diagnostic field. And then in the right down corner is the company Prenetics, a startup, acquired them. The story comes also in a moment. This is also triggered with medical AI. Why is this so important? So when we have the making of drugs, the new compounds, normally when you have drug discovery, drug development, you have a circle of 12 to 15 years. They become more expensive, difficult to proliferate. And then we're working on the medical AI tools. So when you see the company in silico medicine, they use the medical AI for comparing data from healthy and not healthy volunteers to create a better a judgment about which compound they should allocate and to purify for a new drug. This company came actually from America, placed in Hong Kong, and now they're kind of unicorn company in the world in this field. This is about pharma revolution, but it's more about regenerative medicine. Normally you talk about biotech and medtech, but when we talk about stem cell research, regenerative medicine, it's about new tools. The tools are actually so important that you can actually work on your own body. You have stem cells. Normally the stem cells have a kind of moral issue. You cannot use embryonic stem cells because you cannot replace a human with a human. Now you can take from your skin an adult stem cell and cultivate it to new cells like liver cells, blood cells, skin cells, etc., and so on. And this leads us to new platform technologies like bioprinting. Have you heard about that? You can do actually your own organoids. Organoids are now small matrix of skin, and you can use the lattice for the test, so that you don't have to use the animal test. You can reduce it and work in the lab on the human data. It's also important not for pharma, but also for cosmetic companies. This is also one of the important projects in Hong Kong about the Hong Kong Genome Project. Why it's so important? You have to create cohort studies with healthy and not healthy volunteers to compare the data and saying maybe we should work more on new medicines and new diagnostica. And with this, we want to reach out to companies and research institutes to optimize our journey in the biomedical development in Asia. These are examples from our clients. So I call it DACH. DACH means German, Austria, Switzerland. And this, in the center, it's called Medical AI. It's actually a small startup company. And they worked on a kind of application for the smartphone saying, okay, the doctor says something, the result, but he couldn't even understand what the doctor said. So with this kind of new artificial intelligence, they can make a better analysis what they own have, the kind of disease, etc., and so on. And then they can talk to the experts for the further treatment. The company on the right side is Oncolis from Switzerland. They're in Lausanne. This is actually a unicorn company with a greater portfolio in the eye disease. We visit them. They're already placed in Hong Kong, and they will enlarge their R&D activities also for entire Asia. Just an example, you know, infectious disease, Corona, Moderna, also placed in Hong Kong. Now we come to the interesting point of fundraising. So I mentioned already that Hong Kong is the third biggest financial hub in the world, and why it's so important, because let's say we're not the biggest market. We have a population of 7.5 million people, but we got this kind of very unique position. There was a kind of, how can I say, a race between America and China, like this saying, where you want to go IPO. Is it Shanghai? Is it New York? And you could only choose one side, but Hong Kong was free of that. And based on that, we got a huge push and pull effect that several companies, even from mainland China, placed in Hong Kong and went for IPO. And the IPO level is enormous, like tenfold than other places. And now on the right side, the right box is about the Biotech Chapter 18A. The Biotech Chapter 18A from Hong Kong Exchange means you can go actually pre-revenue IPO in Hong Kong. We start with 2017, 2018, and now we have so many champions placing already in Hong Kong, and they went for, let's say, $500 million US IPO. And this is very interesting. Let's say you have companies from Poland or Eastern Europe, and you really want to look for the scale-up phase. You can place in Hong Kong and reach out to the Hong Kong Exchange. If you pass the test, just go for the business in Asia. This is just an example from the Hong Kong Exchange. This is a kind of database of promising companies, even from China, like TigerMed. They went for several billions Hong Kong dollar IPO. And this is the company I mentioned before. We had before champion companies, diagnostic companies, mature companies. They're already good in business. They merged. And suddenly this company, it's a garage company, it's a startup company called Prenetics, very young, maybe for 2019. They went a special IPO journey we called Spark, Special Purpose Acquisition Company, and they went IPO for $1.7 billion US in Hong Kong and bought the other two diagnostic companies. So this is a new formation, new activity. This means if you are dreaming big, if you want to see big things happening, possibly your company can reach out to Hong Kong and maybe make the same journey like Prenetics. This is just the outline from the Hong Kong Exchange. They make every year on September the kind of biotech summit. We invited actually the CEO of BioNTech, the BioNTech company from Germany for the corona medicine, Dr. Sahin. And here you can work together and network with the best people in the life science activities in the world. Greater Bay Area, I mentioned already triggered that, of course, you place in Hong Kong with a smart unit, but there's more. In our backyard, we have the Greater Bay Area with a population of over 80 million people, and this is also for not only a workbench, it's also a kind of resource for talents. So reaching out to Hong Kong means also reaching out to the entire region there. This is again about GBA. It's so-called the strongest we have, also in different industry areas. And now we come, this is just a one page of the Science Park. The Science Park, I see a little bit like a city of city. So you have over 1,000 tech companies. And if you come as a young company, you can go for the incubation programs. It's non-dilutive money. If you pass the test, you will get money for 3 to 4 years. For biomedical companies, it's around 670,000 euro. You don't have to pay back. You just have to push and proliferate your product and work with the stakeholders in Hong Kong. Now we have over 200 biomedical companies in the cluster. And now comes the addition. Why not make things bigger? So now Hong Kong and Shenzhen teaming up, and they create this greater Hong Kong-Shenzhen Innovation Technology Park. And this means you have everything a little bit larger and bigger, and you can embrace, besides biomedical activities, also other areas, robotics, AI, etc., if you engage with us in Shenzhen. My summary is now, talk to us. We can help you with the journey, how to land in Hong Kong and in Asia. Our services are for free of charge, and we can give you connections, information, how to place there and how to reach out to additional champions there. So this is my summary of summary. This means you find with us a kind of extraordinary value chain, a biomedical value chain in Hong Kong, and you're in the center of Asia. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. We have question and answer session now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we still have some time left. So
yes, then I want to add something because I want to follow up with the early presentations of today. I was very amazed about the Deputy Mayor Mazur, how he summarized the situation. I mean, I can see Wrocław like a nucleus in Eastern Europe. You have a very young community. Of course, I talked about Asian society today, but yesterday we went out in the city. We saw many young people. You see the audience. Everyone is so and delighted, enlightened, and friendly and open, going for business. And the second thing he said, don't waste the crisis. So instead of waiting and saying, what can we do? You invent yourself again and you go forward. You working with your talents here. We talked also today more with the Deputy Mayor Mazur about the faculty, the university and so on, and we see lots of strongholds in the natural science. We actually in Hong Kong are living from that. We are not only a financial or logistics hub and center, now we're going for the innovation technology and we really need the talents, especially from Eastern Europe. So I would call upon if you talk to us and saying, can we help you to travel to Hong Kong? Can we help you to go to exhibition, to showcase your skill sets, your products? That would be amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking that you should definitely listen into that because there's a prime way, you know, way to approach you and say, hey, I heard you on the stage and you told us we can approach you and ask you for the opportunity. So I think you should definitely use that opportunity to its fullest. And also about Wrocław, I think you're very right here. I live in Warsaw, and whenever I was mentioning that a Wolf Summit is happening in Wrocław, a lot of people kept asking me, why in Wrocław, why not in Warsaw? And I think all of us in Wolf Summit also really shares your mindset that the whole international students activity and all the young people talents is kind of accumulated here. I'm not saying Warsaw is any worse, obviously not. I'm a diehard Warsaw fan. But comparing the ecosystems, I have a feeling that Warsaw has a bit more going on. So that's a very nice observation that you made there. Have you been around the town? How did you like it?
Just yesterday was fantastic because we took a train from Berlin, just for hours, and we arrived, and everything is top-notch here. Infrastructure, the buildings, the culture, the communities. We walked to a restaurant, people are outside, we saw a kind of garden with music and so on, and again, it's the young population and the spirit. I feel it's a very young community here, and when we talk with the mayor, the deputy mayor really understands the talents, what the exposure they have here, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think in the world, we talk always about ranking, you know. Let's say American ranking, Boston, you know, Harvard, MIT, and then you talk a UK, Oxford, Cambridge, this kind of things. But the issue is like, you have a treasure box here. I think you should work more to open it up and showcase it, especially in Asia, because this is the thing, you know. And in Hong Kong, not everybody wants to become a banker, you know. So maybe we should team up with the kind of STEM subjects, natural science talents from Poland, reaching out to Hong Kong and say, you know what, maybe there's a job, there's an opportunity, and maybe you can create new companies and business models, not only reaching out to Hong Kong, China, but also to, let's say, South Korea, Japan, etc. So that would be very interesting to see.
There's nothing more I would love to hear the feedback like that, to be honest, because, you know, you arrived here, you made up your mind, and it's such an amazing feeling to hear it from you. Honestly, I cannot express how happy I am.
I want to add something because in the beginning, when we talked about the talents, it was maybe mentioned future things like AI, deep tech, and health. But based on the IT or the ICT skill sets, in Hong Kong we combine it now with the fintech. Because we have this kind of financial services, it's extraordinary in the world. So now we're creating more and more applications in the fintech sector, you know, with a smartphone, etc., and so on. So you don't have to know 100% of financial services. Maybe you know one guy can do it, but what we know is we need the IT guy. So why not teaming up, bringing the financial services people from Hong Kong and the IT persons to create new solutions? That would be wonderful to see.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's a very good summarizing point of the little discussion that we had here. Actually, we just made it in time, so thank you so much for the perfect timing. Thank you. I can take the mic if you want.
So much.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you so much.
And by the way, see you at the Hong Kong booth. And tomorrow we make a workshop 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's
and
right.
It's about creative industry. So not this, but something new. Thank you. See you.